Hey everyone, it's Kaycie. Today we're going to go through a full 60-minute stretch and mobilize yoga class. So stretching and mobilizing into the body, we're going to focus on creating openness, creating length and space, but we're also going to work on functional movements within the body that help us to build more strength within our range of motion. So that mobility aspect of working the range of motion and just building more strength, integrity, and functionality into the openness that we create. So you're going to notice a little bit of difference in the approaches to the different postures. Maybe it feels more like a stretch, maybe it feels more like a gentle strengthening or engagement. And I want you to just kind of take note of how that feels within your body, within your practice, and see what you like. Maybe your body feels like it needs more space, maybe your body feels like it needs more strength and functionality. So I have 2 blocks and a strap here. The focus is going to kind of be full body. So we're not going to just hone in on one specific area. We're going to showcase all the different ways that you can tap into the different areas of the body and to feel different sensation in different ways by using the same pose. So just having these nearby as you make your way down into a reclined position. Come down onto your backs and we'll start here. So as you come down onto your back, we're just going to take a nice shavasana by letting the legs extend out off the mat. Let the arms extend out off the mat. Maybe slightly tuck the shoulder blades, feel the front of the chest roll open, and just allow the entire body to kind of settle here for a moment. Notice how you feel. Take in the sensations physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically, all these parts that make up how we feel in this exact moment. Every day, every moment, we feel different. So the more we can draw conscious awareness to those feelings, to those sensations, the deeper we're going to feel connected to ourselves within this practice. So make adjustments, get cozy, get comfortable. And then once you're here and you arrive, we're going to work through the initial layers of ourselves to kind of crack that shell and allow ourselves to become a little more centered inward. So to help us kind of break through that shell, let's take a couple cleansing breaths together, stretching those lungs open and creating space for the practice. So let's exhale and just let everything out. And then as you breathe through your nose, fill all the way up through the torso as you expand your belly, your low back, expand up into your rib cage and your mid back, and then feel your chest and your upper back open. Notice the spaces that lift away from the ground and the spaces that expand out. And then just open up your mouth and sigh out anything you no longer need. Let's do that again. Slow, intentional breath in. Scoop up the air through the body. Let it expand out in all directions as it rises, lifting up through the torso, front, back, sides. And once the breath has lifted all the way up into the chest and shoulders, just retain it here for a moment. And then open up the mouth and exhale, sigh, release it all the way out. Now, if you need another one of those, take another one on your own. Otherwise, just let your breath relax back. Let it find more of its own natural rhythm. And just observe your breath here with a little more space and awareness. As though you gave those lungs a nice stretch for the day. And now they're better prepared for taking deeper, fuller breaths. So feel the space that you've created here, circulating it through the body. And throughout this practice, even though we are just going to be stretching and mobilizing, we still will connect our postures and have some movement involved within the practice. So we're going to establish a nice kind of regulating breath to carry with us from the start to the finish. So we're going to come into an ujjayi breath, a victorious breath. So a slight constriction down the back of the throat. Just allow your breath to take on more of that audible sound and sensation. Let the ocean wave crash in and out with each breath. And just give yourself a few here to feel that regulation of the breath, to feel that movement of energy, keeping things flowing through the body. Not just getting stuck in one spot, not creating any blockages, free-flowing energy. Nice audible breath. Give yourself at least one more here. Let your mind just empty out, relaxing away from any other thoughts, concerns, and just be present here with your breath. That's all you gotta do. And then let's give little movements into the fingers and toes and just start to wake up the physical self a little bit. Arms start to stretch over the head, reaching out through the arms, stretching down through the legs and feet and toes. Shift a little in your hips. Feel some movement from the core in both directions. And then let's pull the knees to the chest. Let the arms wrap around the legs and just sway a little bit from left to right. Okay, we're gonna start off here by focusing on the hips and the hamstrings. So we'll be reclined here for a moment or for a little while, and we're just gonna experience some different sensations. So let's start by just setting the feet down to the ground. We're gonna start with ankle over knee or figure 4 stretch position, okay? We went over a lot of details in reference to how to stretch and open the body. And so we're gonna feel different sensations through this stretch specifically and through all of the different positions we come into today. So let's just start by crossing right ankle over the left thigh, okay? And you can just press that right thigh open away from you and just kind of feel a little bit of swinging open, a little barn door. That knee opens away and then comes back in, okay? And what we're doing is we're creating a little lubrication into that hip joint by allowing some movement, some fluidity into the joint. Okay, now as you press it open, keep it here, stay as you are, or without using your hands, you're gonna try to lift your legs towards your chest while keeping your hips flat down on the ground. So right now we're starting to activate a little bit into the hips, especially into our hip flexors, which are pulling the thighs closer towards the chest while keeping the back of the hips down on the ground, okay? So recognize the strength here. There's also flexibility involved, so you're probably gonna still feel a nice stretch into that outer right hip or glute, but you're just lifting the left knee towards the chest as much as you can. Hold for 3, keep breathing. 2, and then 1. Take your hands, you're gonna weave them through and catch your left leg and just pull it in. So if holding the legs in does not feel good, you can always take a strap around the left leg instead and just hold on to the strap. Or if having the leg lifted at all just is too much, just set the left foot back on the ground and press the right thigh away, okay? Otherwise, pulling the left knee closer to the chest, shoulders are relaxed as you can get them, hips stay flat down on the ground, not curling up and away. We want that back to stay nice and flat, okay? So as you pull the legs towards the chest, you're gonna feel some nice sensation. We're using this as a leveraged stretch. So as you pull in, you're using the effort of your arms and shoulders to pull in to help increase the depth of the stretch, which is recognizing that our body doesn't necessarily have the strength to move into this level of flexibility, and that's okay, just recognizing where the gaps are. Let's take another breath here. Okay, we're gonna start to feel a difference in our sensations. So if you feel that you are at your 100% max, I don't want you to be fully maxed out. So back off until you can find a smooth breath, maybe up to about 20% effort, okay? Now you should still feel sensation, but without it being at your full peak or edge. Now with the ankle that's crossed over the knee, you're gonna press that right ankle into the knee as though you're trying to press it forward, but your leg's not letting it move. Your right leg is pressing forward, but the left knee is keeping it in place, which means you feel a little bit of resistance and tension starting to build here. Take another breath. We're gonna use this resistance to see if it can help us go a little bit deeper. We're activating those muscles, building strength in that opposition. And then go ahead and relax and pull it in a little bit more and see if any more space is there for you. Nice. Now what we're gonna do is you're gonna release your hands, but keep your legs where they are, okay? Your right leg is gonna stay as close to where it is right now as you can, okay? It's okay if it moves, but try to keep it here. Slowly let your left foot touch down to the ground and see if that creates a gap of space between your ankle and knee. If not, keep walking that foot forward until there is a gap of space between the foot and the thigh. And then really try to create that same movement in the hip as though you're trying to pull the leg in closer. The foot is swinging in towards you as the knee opens away and feeling a nice hinging at your hip joint to pull the leg in closer. So now we're kind of testing out that range of motion just with the top leg for 3, 2, and 1. Swivel it to center, set the foot down to the ground, and just sway your knees side to side. So we did figure 4 stretch. You can do figure 4 stretch simply just by taking ankle over knee and pulling it in, feeling a nice stretch, breathing there, you're good to go. Okay, notice the difference in sensations for those slightly different ways that we can activate or feel the posture. Okay, there's so many different ways to experience a pose. It's so much more than just stretching. All right, now knees bent, let's left ankle over right thigh. Okay, and once again, let's create a little bit of dynamic movement just to warm up and lubricate the hip joint. So you're gonna feel the knee swing in and then just kind of press it away and just keep drawing it in and out. It's almost like a little quarter circular movement of that top leg. Take a couple more here. I like to actually visualize that there's lubrication going into my joint, putting a little oil in there, working out the little squeaks and kinks, working out the Tin Man. Okay, next time you swing it open, stay here, opening it up, and just release your hands, okay? As best as you can, right foot off the ground, and just feel the legs pulling towards the chest. Using the strength of your legs to pull in. Okay, you are using the leverage of your right leg to pull your left leg closer. So feel the strength in those hip flexors to pull it in. Equally feel that nice opening and elongation through that left hip. Okay, just take it all in. Take 2 more breaths. Keep the hips nice and flat. Try not to bring tension into your facial muscles. All right, now weave your hands through and let's catch your right leg, or take a strap around the leg, catch your strap, or set the foot down if you know you want that variation. Now, if you are pulling in, use your arms to help assist and draw in deeper, and just notice the difference in that gap of space between flexibility and strength. Let your eyes soften into the sockets, and even though you're using your upper body to draw in, try to melt some tension and effort from your shoulders. Just a few more breaths. Okay, now if you're at 100% edge, back off a little bit until you feel a little more space. Still sensation. Holding in that shape, we're gonna help build up to some end range engagement. I don't want you to just max out from where you are. We're gonna work within our safe zones. So after we've backed out of the edge a little bit, start to lightly activate as you press your left ankle into your right thigh. And so you're trying to press it forward in front of you, but your right thigh is resisting. You can even pull it in a little bit closer if you'd like, and test that range of motion in your active state. And holding here, breathe for 3, 2, and 1. Relax the tension, but keep the legs where they are. Simply release your arms, and then we're going to create that gap of space. So try to keep your top leg as close to where it is as you can as you release your right foot to touch down to the ground. Okay, keep pulling the left foot in, opening the thigh away. Keep walking it forward if needed, if you need more space. Otherwise, keep feeling that external rotation in your hip as you try to draw the shin closer towards your upper body. 3, 2, 1. Swivel it to center, set the foot down. Go ahead and shake out your legs however you need to here. Just kind of work out that tension. Okay, like I said, we were going to be focused on the hips and hamstrings here for a little while. We're going to do one more exercise on both sides. This is going to take up probably a majority of the class, and then after that we'll get things moving a little bit and test out some different areas of the body and within our range of motion. So reach over for your strap. Let's take a bend into the knees. We're going to start on the right side. So you don't have to have a loop in it. You can just have it open. It's perfectly fine. I'm just going to keep my loop as it is. In fact, keep your strap to the side. We're going to do it without the strap the first time, and that way we can kind of feel where our mobility is on its own, okay? Right leg extends up towards the ceiling. Okay, it's okay if there's a bend into the knee, but try to extend as much as you can, reaching up through the heel. An option to keep the left knee bent with the foot flat on the ground, or you can extend it out, okay? If extending out hurts your lower back, just rebend it, create a little alleviation into that lower back space, okay? Now, as you reach up through the heel, you're gonna activate as much as you can through your hip flexors and just try to pull the leg closer towards your upper body. Breathing, you're not using your hands, it's all in your hips. For 3, keep breathing. 2, and 1. Open the arms out to the sides, straight out from the shoulders. You're gonna take the top leg and you're gonna angle the toes to the right side, but it's more than just the toes. We're not just rotating and moving through the ankle and foot. I want you to rotate all the way from your hip joint as though you're trying to turn your hip open, turning the toes out to the right side. So you're adding the external rotation in the hip. And then keep it and imagine the leg still pulling in towards your chest as you open it out to the right side, okay? All in the hips. Whenever you feel that your left glute wants to lift off the ground, you've gone a little too far. Left glute stays down, extending out through that right heel, toes rolling towards the ground to exaggerate that external hip rotation. It doesn't matter how close you get to the floor. Just feel out your range of motion. Holding here, 1 more breath. Strong inner thighs. Lift the leg all the way back up to center. Now with the leg right above you, you're going to keep the foot nice and parallel. We're not turning it to either side. So with the foot right above you, feel it pull in a little closer. And then we're just going to take it a few inches over to the left side, not very far. As it goes over to the left, reach out through the heel. You're going to feel the entire side of your leg start to light up. As you reach out through the heel, equally feel the leg pull closer towards your chest. And just hold here for 3, 2, 1. Leg back to center, bend the knee, and just set the foot down to the ground. Okay, so right there we got to test out our range of motion in the position without any assistance or leveraging, okay? That was your natural range of motion, the mobility in your hips from a reclined position. Now let's play with it a little bit. Let's lift that right foot back up, and we'll take the strap, loop it around the ball of your right foot. And then let's re-extend the leg back up. This time the hands are going to stay attached to either end of your strap. And it's okay once again to keep a little bend into the knee if you need to. Okay, otherwise straighten it as much as you can. Left knee can be bent or straighten it out, your choice, change at any time. And then you're going to use leverage now with your hands to pull the leg in a little bit closer. So as you pull in closer, you'll notice you're going to go past the edge where you were able to go with just your mobility and strength alone, okay? So really feel into the stretch here. Take a couple deep breaths. Okay, now, if you're shaking, you're trembling in your breath, I want you to back off a little bit. okay? I wanna make sure you're in a safe zone. You're gonna hold on to the strap ends with your hands really firmly and tight. You're not gonna let that top leg move, okay? But I want you to start kicking your foot into the strap, as though if your hands weren't there, you'd kick the foot all the way forward and down to the ground, okay? But you're holding it in place with your hands, and you're gonna create some resistance. So the leg's wanting to kick forward, but you're holding it in place with your hands. Keep kicking forward, keep holding it in place for 3, 2, and 1. Relax, pull it in a little closer. So that's a PNF stretch. A nice PNF stretch, we work in that kind of engagement, we hold the tension and resistance, and then we draw a little bit deeper. Now let's take both ends of the strap into your right hand. I like to hold fairly close to the foot, or as close as I can, while keeping my shoulder blade on the ground, okay? Now as I hold on to it, I'm gonna continue pulling it in. I wanna keep that edge. Left hand can rest to the side, or I like to ground my left hip. Hand on the hip helps me remember to keep it down. Now, we're gonna start by turning the toes and hips to the right, rolling open, and then keep pulling it in as you open it out to the side. Still using the hand to pull it in and open it out to the side and down towards the ground. Both shoulders stay heavy, left hip stays down on the ground, reaching out through the heels. Really add that external hip rotation as though the heel could angle up as the toes roll down. Inner thigh is rolling open. Give yourself another breath here. Okay, so we're gonna create resistance here, and I'm gonna turn on the mat so you can kind of see a little bit easier what this resistance is gonna look like. So with the leg out to the side and the right hand is holding onto it. Right now, I'm kind of holding onto it and my hand is above the top of my foot. I'm gonna slide the strap so that my hand can actually pull in the direction of the ground instead of towards me, okay? So hand kind of rolls down, which means I kind of slide the strap over the foot to match. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna imagine my hand is an anchor towards the floor, and it's not gonna let my top leg move. If you're at 100% max, come out of it a little bit, save space for engagement. And then we're gonna activate the inner leg and try to kick the leg all the way back up to center, but the hand is anchoring it in the direction of the ground. If it feels okay, you can also bend the elbow to create that anchor. Hand pulls down, or at least holds it in place. The leg's trying to resist and kick back up to center. Hold for 3, 2, and 1. Relax, let it sink a little deeper. Now use your hand to help pull and lift it all the way back up to center. Bend the knee. Actually, let's do that other side. Let's come into the IT band stretch. So with the leg right above you, pull it in a little closer. And now switch hands. Left hand grabs the strap. Right hand can rest anywhere, maybe out to the side or on your belly. Pull the leg in nice and close and really extend out through that top heel. Left leg can do whatever you'd like. Now you're gonna take the leg over to the left a few inches, not very far. Keep pulling it in if you don't feel enough, okay? Now, as you pull in with the strap, you're not just using the strength of the leg, you're using a little bit of leverage to feel the twist, feel that nice elongation through the side of the leg. Now, just like we did when the leg opened out to the right, we're gonna do something similar, but now the leg's opened a little to the left. So my hand is gonna slide to the left side as though I'm trying to pull it to the left, or at least hold it from the left. And as I hold with my hand to the left side of the foot, I'm gonna resist and kick my foot to the right side. Once again, if you need to back out of your edge a little bit, do so. Okay, start to engage, kick the leg out to the right side, but resist by holding and anchoring the strap with your left hand. Feel the engagement for 3, 2, adjust it if needed, if you need to go a little deeper, 1. Let the leg come to center, bend the knee, release the strap from your foot, and now let's go ahead and release it all the way out, shake out your legs, and just feel the differences in your sides. You're now freakishly long right side. We feel about a foot longer. Okay, So we felt the differences in all of those sensations, and that resistance can feel tough, it can feel hard, but it also feels really, really good to build that strength and that awareness into the body. So if it feels really challenging, it's probably because the muscles are weak, and we want to work on strengthening them so that over time they can build more and more support to help our bodies function. So let's do the other side. When you're ready, we're going to do the same setup. So first without the strap. Just stretch your left leg up and just get some nice reach through the heel with the toes pulling back, okay? Now use the strength of your hips to pull the leg closer to you. Nice. As you pull it in nice and close, feel the strength into your hips. Now you're going to turn the toes out to the left side, rolling through the hip on that left side. Keep the leg pulled in. You can extend your right leg out at any point, or you can keep the knee bent. It's up to you. But as you keep it pulled in, you're going to slowly open it out to the left side. Arms can come out to a T if you want a little bit more foundational support. Once again, you're just using strength for this first round. Leg opens out to the side, still exaggerating that external rotation in the hip. And then nice activation of inner thigh. Kick the leg all the way back up to center. Okay, now from here, pull it in a little bit closer. And this time you're just gonna let the leg go a few inches over to the right side. Reach out through the heel. Legs pulling in closer towards the torso. Breathe for 3, 2, 1. Let the leg come back to center. You're going to bend the knee, set the foot to the ground just briefly here. And we're going to reach for our straps. Okay, I'm going to turn back around. And that way you guys got a nice visual still again here. Let's take the strap around the ball of your left foot. Right knee can be bent, foot on the floor, or stretch it out. And then extend your left leg up towards the ceiling. Find the appropriate length into the leg. Holding on with either hand to your strap. And then as you extend out through both legs, or at least through the top leg, work on pulling the leg in a little bit closer. Relax your shoulder blades. Feel your edge, try to close your eyes, feel into the sensations that you feel. If the strap is around the ball of the foot, and as you pull down on it, it's gonna help to kind of pull the toes back and to create more length into your calf muscles. And then down into that Achilles. Nice, so if you're at 100% max, I want you to back off just a little bit, just give a little bit of space, and then hold it with your hands. Keep it there. Start to kick the foot into the strap as though you're trying to kick your foot forward towards the front of your mat, but you're holding it in place with your hands. For that resistance, hold for 3, 2, and 1. Relax, pull it in a little bit closer. Now bring both ends of the strap into your left hand. Hold close to the foot as you can. Shoulder blade stays down. Now, right hand can release, maybe to the hip or out to the side. And with the top leg, keep pulling it in. Start to turn the toes out to the left, getting a nice external rotation in that left hip. Okay, and then we're gonna slowly start to open the leg out to the left side while keeping it pulled in. And then just open it out and keep focusing on that external hip rotation as it opens. Right hand can keep that right hip pressing down into the earth. Breathing here for 3, 2, 1. Okay, so if you're in your edge, back off just a little bit. Hand is gonna slide down to create an anchor towards the floor. Keep the anchor as you kick your foot back up to center, or imagine that you're trying to, but you're holding it in place. Keep kicking for 3, 2, 1. Relax and see if you can pull it in a little deeper. And then let's lift the leg all the way back up to center. Use the strap to help lift the leg. And then we're gonna switch hands. Right hand is gonna reach up for the strap ends, left arm can just fall out to the side. Now with the leg above you, pull it in a little closer, find that first edge to work with, and we're gonna build from there. With the leg fully extended above you, reach out through the heel and then slowly take the leg a little over to the right side, maybe just a few inches. Keep kicking out through the heel, toes pulling back, and just feel once again the whole side of the leg just starting to light up. Deep breath into that IT band. It can be really, really tight sometimes. One more here. Now you're gonna take the right hand that's holding onto the strap end and roll it over to the right side. So you're trying to anchor it to the right side of the room. Hold it in place as you resist and start to kick the pinky toe edge side out to the left. You're trying to kick the leg back to center, but you're holding it with your right hand, pulling it to the right, resisting for 3, 2, 1. Maybe sink it a little deeper as you relax, and then we'll slowly bring it all the way back to center. Bend the knee, release the strap away from the foot, and then just stretch your left leg out to meet the right. Balance is restored. If you need to kind of sigh out through the mouth, if you feel like you got some tension lingering in there, just open up the mouth and release it at any time. Okay. Let's pull the knees into the chest now and just sway a little bit left and right. Now we've got the hips and hamstrings a little more open in the body. We can focus on different areas and see how they feel. So we're gonna come up to a seated position. You can get there a couple different ways. First option, grab the backs of your thighs and just rock forward and back, a little rock and roll action to build the momentum to come up to a seat. Or you can simply roll over to a side and use your top hand to gently guide yourself upright into a seat of your choosing. Okay, and then from your seat, let's find a nice cross-leg seated position. We're gonna do some seated cat-cows. One of my absolute favorite sequence of motions because it's working some dynamic movement into the body while also addressing the spine, the pelvis, and through the head and neck. So as you cup over the knees, inhale, scoop your heart forward and up. Feel your chest lift, feel your sit bones draw back. I like to even kind of pull on my knees a little bit to open up even more into my ribs and chest. And then exhale, round your back, chin to your chest, tail wraps under, curl your spine. And then inhale, scooping forward and up, lifting, lengthening, find that extension. And then exhale, rounding and curling in, sink into it. Now go ahead and take about 3 or 4 more rounds on your own, just kind of going from one to the next. And add in anything else that helps you feel more connected to your body today. So if your body's like, hey, I kind of want to circle in the hips a little bit and play, let yourself be adventurous. Explore throughout your body's movements. Get to know yourself a little bit better today. Always encouraged. Okay, let's slowly come all the way back up to a nice seated position. Okay, so we're gonna take a twist and we're gonna feel it first just without leverage, and then we're gonna build a little bit of leverage into it and just feel the difference between our strength and our flexibility. So arms reach up, take a deep breath in, and then just join hands to heart center as you keep the spine up tall. Now lengthening, inhale, and on your exhale, you're just gonna twist ribs and chest to that right side, rotating right side. You're not using your shoulders to pull, you're not leveraging anything, just use the trunk. Nice, each breath in, feel yourself lift a little taller. You're gonna keep the lower back long and exhale, twisting a little deeper. 2 more deep breaths, lifting, inhale, twisting, exhale. Notice your range of motion. 1 more deep breath in and deep breath out. Now from here, left hand is gonna grab the outer right knee, and the right fingertips are just gonna plant to the ground behind you, keeping the spine up tall. Inhale, lifting up. Now using the leverage, exhale, twist. Hand presses into knee to help rotate. Couple more breaths here. Just feel now the difference in the range of motion when we do have that leverage. Last full breath. Okay, keep the hand cupped over the knee, left hand to knee. We're just gonna take a nice little stretch into our side body. So back hand reaches up, take a deep breath in, lift the spine, and then exhale, lean over to that left side, getting a nice stretch into the right side body. So we're coming into a nice lateral bend, getting a nice side body stretch. Now as you reach over, chances are you're using your hand to your knee to kind of hold and support yourself. Okay, we're leveraging into the depth. Now, I want you to come out of the side bend just a little bit until you can hover your left hand right above the knee. And now you know you have the strength to take yourself into that depth. One more breath. Inhale, come all the way up. Arms reach over your head as you unravel to center. And then just take your hands back together at your heart. Okay, let's do the same thing other side. Inhale, spine up, keep the hands at your heart center. Exhale, just twist to the left side, ribs and chest. Couple more breaths here. Inhale, lift a little bit taller, keep the hands at heart center. Exhale, twisting a little bit deeper. 2 more on your own. Find the full capacity of your breath and linking it in with your movement, twisting deeper on the exhale. Last one. Notice that range, that depth. Right hand to the outer knee, left fingertips to the ground behind you. Lift the spine a little taller on an inhale. Twist a little deeper on an exhale. Lower back stays lifted, getting a more twist, ribs and chest. Take a couple more here. Lengthening, inhale. Twisting, exhale, use the leverage. Last one. Now continue to hold on to that outer knee. Back hand reaches up, deep breath in. Exhale, lean off to that right side. Stretch into the side body and lean so far that you have to hold on to that knee to feel the depth of that stretch. One more breath. Now, only come out as much as you need to until you can stabilize, strengthen, support, and hover your right hand above the knee. 3, keep breathing. 2, 1. Inhale, come all the way up. Both arms reach high over your head. And then let's bend the elbows, open up the chest, and sweep the arms down to your sides. Roll the shoulders forward and up. And exhale, roll them all the way back and down. Okay, roll briefly here. Let's spin the legs around and come down onto our, actually, let's before we go there, let's get the shoulders a little bit more. I was gonna do it from our bellies, but I think it's a little more accessible from a seated position. So we're gonna do it from a seat and then we'll make our way onto our bellies. Right arm reaches forward, thumb up. And we're gonna cross the right arm over the chest. Left hand is gonna hook in front however you want. You can grip it, okay? And you're just gonna work on pulling that right upper arm closer into the chest. Spine up nice and tall. Feel that leveraged drawing in. Okay, now, if you're in a fully maxed out stretch and you don't think you can engage from here, back off just a little bit. Your front hand is gonna lock into place. It's not gonna move anymore. But your right arm is gonna try to press forward back out in front of you. Left arm keeps it in place. So just start to press your right arm into that left arm. Your left arm's holding it here, creating resistance. Right arm's drawing forward, spine up nice and tall. Hold for 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and relax it here. You're gonna try to keep your right arm as close to the chest as you possibly can, but just release your left arm out of the way. Keep pulling it in for 3, 2, 1. Relax the arm, roll the shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Couple rounds here, okay? We worked the leverage of the flexibility, we worked a little bit of that PNF resistance stretching, and we also worked a little bit of that mobility and engagement, okay? So let's take the left arm forward, thumb up, cross it over the chest. First, just leveraging the stretch, right arm hooks in front of the elbow or up on the arm, tricep, and pulling it in while the spine stays nice, long, and lifted. Deep breath here. One more. Okay, we're gonna create resistance. Right arm stays locked into place. Left arm is trying to push forward. Keep it locked in, start to resist. If you need to back off a little bit, you can. If you feel like you can take it deeper, do it by going in deeper and finding kind of that end range engagement. Keep pressing the left arm forward, holding it in place with your right arm, and hold for 3, 2, 1. Relax. Okay, now keep your left arm where it is, drop your right arm down, and keep trying to pull the left arm closer for 3, 2, and 1. Relax, roll the shoulders out. Okay, now let's spin around and make our way onto our bellies. Okay, we're gonna get a little bit into the back body and engaging a little bit into those back muscles. So hands are going to be planted essentially under the shoulders or anywhere along the rib cage area, depending on the length of your torso and arms and what feels most appropriate. Elbows drawing slightly in, just a little inner arm activation towards the sides. Legs pressing into the floor. We're going to do a few rounds, lifting up into cobra. You can come up as high as you'd like. Keep your legs actively pressing into the floor. Let's inhale, peel your heart up as much as it feels good. Exhale, right back down. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, right back down. Now inhale, lifting up. Now holding here and breathing. I want you to activate your legs, keep them pressing into the floor. You're going to slowly start to bend your elbows, and I want you to imagine taking as much weight out of your hands as possible. If you want to, come up onto your fingertips. Lower, lower, lower until you can find the point where your belly lowers only enough to where you can float and hover your hands. And now you're just kind of feeling that difference between flexibility, where we are leveraging ourselves into the stretch, versus the actual strength to support it. Holding for 3, 2, 1. Now go ahead and come all the way down, press into the hands, come up tabletop, hands and knees, and just a brief child's pose. Let your hips sink back towards the heels, relax your spine. Breathe. Slowly come forward, tabletop position. And then from here, we're just going to tuck the toes, lift the knees, and walk the feet forward towards the top of the mat into a nice forward bend. Lengthening, inhale, feel the heart draw forward. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up to standing, however it feels good. Arms stretch high over your head, open up the chest. And then draw your hands down together, heart center. Okay. We're going to work a little more into the inner hips and just kind of feel a little more of the mobility and flexibility of our inner hips and groin. So you're going to turn sideways on your mat. Feet parallel, or keep your toes grounded and open up your heels a little wider so you create more of an internal rotation on your hips, okay? And just kind of feel this out first. Notice how it feels in the hips. And then let's turn the toes out and notice how that feels in the hips. Usually creates a little bit more of a tightening effect on the hips versus the internal rotation tends to create more of a broadening and a spaciousness, okay? So we're gonna turn the toes out because we're gonna go for an external rotation in our movement here, okay? So first, we're just gonna test the strength and then we'll lower into our flexibility, okay? Hands to heart center. We're gonna start to bend into the right knee and start to sink into the right side. Now sink in as much as you can while staying in your strength. I don't want you to drop into your flexibility to where you need your hands to push the floor away to come out of it. So you're gonna keep sinking in, knowing you don't get to use your hands to come out. You have to use those hips and the strength of the hips. Maybe you sink all the way down, maybe you only go a little bit. Either way is just fine. Take another breath, see where that end range is. Then lower your hands and help to assist your hips down as low as you possibly can. And I want you to take note of that difference, how much you had to leverage yourself down into your flexibility. We're trying to bridge that gap as much as possible. So give yourself a couple breaths here. I like to use my right arm to the inner thigh to kind of open up the thigh, but always making sure that the knee and toes point in the same directions, okay? Left foot can stay grounded, or you can roll up onto the heel and sink into it. You can play a little bit with both. You can also kind of walk your hands out or sit more upright. Your choice, just a couple more breaths. Now, you're gonna use the hands. You're just gonna press the hips up until you can feel the strength again. Hands to heart center. Press and lift yourself all the way back up, okay? If you're not sure if you can come back up with the strength of the hips before leveraging down, you can always come back up and then come back down, so you can just make sure that you're able to press and come back up. If you want that little extra step, take that on your own. Otherwise, toes out, bend into your left knee, sink in, stay in your strength. Don't let yourself collapse into your flexibility. Stay into that strength wherever it is. Once again, if you need to prove or see for yourself, if you're able to press all the way up without the hands, go for it here. Otherwise, slowly start to drop your hands down. And when ready, lower the hips as deeply as you can into your Skandasana or side lunge position. Maybe open up the thigh, maybe work on playing with planted foot or flexing through the ankle, playing with a little bit of mobility into your hips. Okay, replant the foot. Lift only as much as you need to until you find the strength, and then engage and use the strength to come all the way up. Let's go ahead and walk the feet back to each other. Shake out those legs. Okay. Making your way back to the top of the mat. Inhale, arms reach up, nice and tall. And exhale, forward fold, all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, back up to standing, reach up, open up the chest. Hands connect heart center. Okay, just keeping a little bit of movement and energy in the body so we don't cool down too much. Let's start to open up the feet about the width of the mat, toes out, hands to heart center. We're essentially going to do the same thing, but from a more narrowed stance and lowering straight down to a squat. Now, as you lower down, you might stay in a high squat, okay? You might drop all the way down to parallel or all the way down to the ground, okay? We want to stay in the strength, so listen to your body. From standing, slowly start to bend the knees. Breathe, and I want you to sink down as deeply as you can. Don't use your elbows to rest. And I want you to settle into your level of strength within the hips as much as you can. Wherever you are, high or low, take another breath. Now press through the legs and slowly come all the way back up, strength of the legs. And then bending the knees once again, strength. Maybe go a little deeper, maybe stay the same. And this time, lower yourself all the way into your flexibility, whether you're up high or all the way low. Open up the thighs, a little swaying side to side. All right, fingers to the ground in front of you. You can walk them forward, lift the hips, walk the feet back in, shake it all about. Long spine, inhale. And then you're gonna walk the feet back, drop the knees to the ground, tabletop position. From here, we're gonna come into a puppy pose. We're gonna feel an engaged puppy pose, and then we'll start to surrender into it. So keep the hips stacked over the knees. Your hands are gonna walk forward towards the front of the mat. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna grip our fingers over the front of the mat, about shoulder width or maybe slightly wider, but you're gonna grab the top of your mat and almost kind of curl it up like a sleigh. Okay, and then hips stay over the knees, so adjust the knees as you need to. Sit bones are gonna tilt up. And what I want you to do is I want you to activate as though you're trying to press the arms away from you as you melt your chest. Nice engagement here. Breathing. Heart still melts. Keep pressing through those hands for 3, 2, 1. Press your hands down into the ground. Maybe come out a little bit. Keep pressing down. And this time imagine pulling your hands back for 3, 2, 1. And then relax and just let yourself settle in. You can release the grip on the top of the mat and just let yourself melt. Maybe let the elbows drop. A couple more breaths. Slowly come forward and out of the position. Walk the hands back in underneath the shoulders. And then just round your back, tuck the chin, tuck the tail, get nice and curled in your spine. And then back to neutral. Let's go ahead and make our way into a seated position. And then slowly come down onto our backs. Okay, walk the feet in towards the hips, about hips width apart or so, hands to the sides. And then just gently press the hips and lift them up as high as you can. Ground through the base of the big toes. Hips are lifting. Maybe tuck the shoulders, lift the ribs and chest. Feel the strength that you're building to build that range of motion, nice and active through the back body. Keep the hips up. Reach over for a block. And you're going to take a block at whatever height. And let's bring it underneath the sacrum. And then just let yourself relax onto it. So now we're just letting a passive release kind of take over here. Just a couple breaths of enjoyment, letting that lower back relax open. We felt the active variation of bridge. Now the more passive experience of bridge. Nice. Okay, let's lift the hips up away from the block, remove it from underneath us, come all the way down. When ready, knees can pull to the chest, sway side to side. Head lifts up to the knees, squeeze yourself in nice and tight. And we'll take a little mini shavasana here. Let the legs stretch out. You can take blocks underneath the backs of the knees if you want a little support and lift. That sounds pretty good right about now, especially after all of that stretching and opening and engagement. Relax, let the arms fall out, the legs fall out, finishing where we started, but feeling hopefully a little bit better, a little bit more open and expansive in our bodies and more connected to them. So we're going to take a nice cleansing breath together to just kind of purify and release all that last bit of tension. We're going to come into a suit of armor at the top of the breath, kind of clenching and squeezing that tension to the surface so we can release even deeper. So let's all meet at the bottom of an exhale. Slow breath in through the nose. At the top of the breath, hold it. Clench your whole body. Every muscle activates. Your hands, feet, legs, quads, glutes, abs, chest, back, arms, hands, face. Everything clenches. Squeeze it to the surface. And then open up your mouth, exhale, sigh, and let everything go. Release your effort. Release any need to do anything at all. And just allow yourself to fall more into a still, quiet space. And for the next few minutes, just allow yourself to fully enjoy and let yourself fully immerse into the still. Start to slowly deepen your breath. Let some movement come back down into fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. Rock the head. Stretching full body, arms over your head, reach down through your feet and toes. And then draw the knees to the chest. Sway a little side to side. So same ways that you can come up to a seated position, either by rocking and rolling up or rolling to the side and pressing up, whatever feels most appropriate and gentle for you. You can remove any props if they're in your way. Find your way into a comfortable seated position, spine lifts tall, hands joined together at heart. Thank your bodies and being grateful for this practice and all that it provides to us. Thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide today. Thank you. Thanks, y'all. Stretch and mobility are my jam. I love stretching and working mobilization into my body. I find it is what helps me tremendously for building some more stable and joints with more integrity and functionality. So hopefully you liked the diversity and the different offerings and how we can experience different postures in new ways. And it really kind of opens up the mind to being a little more adventurous in the practice. It doesn't mean having to do really hard things in the practice, but more taking what we know and learning how to experience it in different ways. So let me know in the comments how you liked it, and I'll be seeing y'all soon. Thanks so much.